Jack, while I'm extremely disappointed in what you have done, I want to thank you for coming forward now and owning up to it. The school policy is that cheating on an exam is a very serious matter. In view of this, the administration has made their decision. You are off the sports team for the next 2 weeks. That means you will be missing the finals of the inter-school game next week. After that, you will be allowed back on the team, but on probation. Your grades will need to improve, as well as your application in all subject areas. Being on the team and representing the school is a privileged position. The school expects anyone who is on the team to abide by the highest standard in every way. Do you understand, Jack?
Yes, Mr. Adams. Thank you. I will do my best to show you that I deserve to be back on the team and off probation.
I am very disappointed to have one of my most talented players out for the big game. I suggest you use your extra time during the next few weeks to make a big effort in all your other subject areas.
Yes, Mr. Adams, I will. And I'm so sorry to have to let you and the team down.
I didn't even know that I was needing rescue. The threats and the dangers I couldn't see, I was heading right to. I needed help, but I didn't know. Needed saving from an evil foe. But I didn't even know that I was needing rescue.
Mel, phone for you. Ali would like to speak to you.
Okay, thanks, Mum.
Hi, Mel.
Hey, Ali, what's up?
I just had to call you and tell you the good news. The doctor said that Uncle John has turned the corner and they are fairly confident that he will make a full recovery.
That's awesome news, Ali. What a relief.
Yeah, I'm pretty happy about that. I've been praying for my uncle, but I'm not sure I was praying properly because I don't know what the right way to pray is.
I don't know much about prayer either, Ali. I guess it's talking to God somehow, however that works. We will have to ask someone who might know how exactly we are supposed to pray. But the fact that your uncle is getting better must mean that something was working.
I guess so. Anyways, I've got to go. I told my mum I would just make a quick call.
Okay, thanks for calling and sharing the good news, Ali.
See you tomorrow, Mel.
I am so happy you have been praying, Ellie. Prayer is talking to me. There doesn't have to be a special formula or method. You can just talk to me anywhere, at any time. I am always here, always listening. Talk to me about your concerns, your sadness, your good times, and your bad. I am ready, willing, and waiting to help. I will always answer. Sometimes my answer may not be what you expect, or when you expect it, but no matter what, never forget that I will be with you. And I love you so very much.
Mum, guess what? Ali's Uncle John is getting better. They think that he is going to make a full recovery.
That is good news. I am so happy to hear that.
Yeah, me too, Mum. I really like Ali's uncle. I was pretty sad when I heard that he had an accident.
Well, we have been praying for him, Mel.
Ali and I were talking about prayer, but we were not exactly sure about how prayer even works. I mean, is there a special way to pray? What are the right words you need to use? Where do you have to be when you pray? And does God even hear us?
Mel, you do love to ask lots of questions, don't you? You know, just like you are talking to me at the moment, you can also have a conversation with God. Just like you are asking me all these questions, you can ask God all the questions that are on your mind too.
So, God doesn't mind hearing all of my questions? Because everyone else keeps telling me that I ask way too many questions. But I need to ask so many questions because if I don't, then I won't learn.
You know, Mel, I love hearing all your questions. I love to know what's on your mind and what is bothering you or what you don't understand. Don't ever stop trying to learn and grow. And just like I love to hear your questions, to spend time talking with you, God also wants the same thing.
Really? Well, that's good to know.
Prayer is like talking to a friend. It's like this. There doesn't have to be a special way to pray. What's important is you take the time to talk to God each day. He can hear the whisper of your heart. What you tell him in your mind and what you say out loud. So tell him about your good times. Tell him when you're sad. Tell him what's really troubling you. Tell him what makes you mad. There doesn't have to be a special way to pray. What's important is you take the time to talk to God each day.
There doesn't have to be a special way to pray. What's important is I take the time to talk to God each day. He can hear the whispers of my heart. What I tell him in my mind and what I say out loud. I can tell him about my good times. Tell him when I'm sad. Tell him what's really troubling me. Tell him what makes me mad. There doesn't have to be a special way to pray. What's important is I take the time to talk to God each day. There doesn't have to be a special way to pray. What's important is we take the time to talk to God each day. He can hear the whisper of our hearts. What we tell him in our minds and what we say out loud. We can tell him about our good times. Tell him when we're sad. Tell him what's really troubling us. Tell him what makes us mad. There doesn't have to be a special way to pray. What's important is we take the time to talk to God each day.
Hi, son.
Hi, Dad.
Did Mr. Adams speak to you today?
Yes, Dad. I'm off the team for 2 weeks. I'm missing the big game. Then I'll be on probation and I have to work hard to do the right thing.
Yes. Mr. Adams also called me and filled me in. Choices have consequences, Jack. We reap the rewards of what we sow. We need to always think carefully about the choices we make.
I'm sorry, Dad. I'm going to try really hard to remember that. I want to follow the plan so I can stay on the team. It's going to really hurt to miss that big game. When the other guys hear about it, they're going to be pretty mad with me. I feel bad for letting Mr. Adams down too.
Well, now you know the plan to make the situation better, so you need to stick to it. Think it through before you act, because it really is a fact. The consequence of what you choose will have an impact upon you. Think it through before you act, because because it really is a fact. The consequence of what you choose will have an impact upon you. We reap the rewards of what we do, both good and bad. It is true. The best way to live your life is always choose to do what's right. So Jack, think it through before you act, because it really is a fact. The consequence of what you choose is going to have an impact upon you. Think it through before you act, because it really is a fact. The consequence of what you choose will have an impact upon you. The consequence of what you choose will have an impact upon you.
I can't believe Jack just threw away the opportunity I gave him. Why would he go and turn himself in? I mean, he got 100% on his exam, and he got away with it. Just as well he didn't tell Mr. Adams I gave him the answers. Jack was talking about how owning up was the better way. Really? Doesn't look like a better way to me. I mean, he's in trouble. He's off the team. He has to fail on his exam. But he actually seems to be happier now than before he turned himself in. That really doesn't make sense to me.
Kade, Jack has chosen a better way. Even though there are consequences for actions, the peace that comes with doing the right thing really is worth it.
Hey, Dad.
Hi, son. How was your day?
Well, a bit disappointing, actually.
What happened?
Jack cheated on his exam this week. Now he's off the team for the next 2 weeks. That means he will miss our big game. He's one of our best players. I don't know if we will be able to beat the other team without him.
Sorry to hear that, Jono. It gets back to choices and consequences once again.
Yeah, the bad choices that people make affects those all around them too.
So true, Jono. Making good choices every day is hard. We all make mistakes sometimes. When I feel stuck on a choice, or even tempted to make one I know is the wrong choice, I talk to God, work through the problem with Him. He helps me stay on the right track. Sometimes I talk out loud to Him, sometimes in my mind, just like a conversation with a friend. God has put an amazing plan in place to rescue us all, and He is there to help. But we still have to choose to follow and make good choices every day. If you have a quick moment, let's look at the story of Cain and Abel in the Bible. Two brothers with choices to make.
Cain, Abel, my sons. God has put in place a rescue plan to save us all, but it is always going to be up to us to choose God's way. Whatever God asks you to do, follow what He says. He is going to be sending His own Son, Jesus, to rescue and save us all. It is through Jesus' death that we will be saved. God has asked us to take a perfect lamb from our flocks and put it on an altar.
Yes, Father. I will do as God asks. I will build an altar and bring a lamb.
And I will build an altar and bring my offering to God too.
Always follow God's way, my sons.
Cain, my brother, why have you bought fruits and vegetables? That is not what God has asked us to do. He has asked us for a lamb.
I have grown these myself in my own garden. Just look at what I have been able to do. So anyway, I have decided this is a far better offering for me to bring to God.
But Cain, that is not what God has asked of us. He has requested we bring a lamb.
That is not your concern, brother. I know what I'm doing.
But Cain...
Mind your own business, Abel. You are so annoying.
Dear God, I have bought you a lamb from my own flock, a perfect lamb, which represents what is going to happen when your own perfect Son comes to earth to fulfill your rescue plan. Thank you, God, for loving us so much that you are making this incredible sacrifice to save us. Please, God, accept my offering. Thank you, God, for accepting my offering today.
God, I have worked hard in my garden and grown these amazing fruits and vegetables. Look at what my hands have produced. I am bringing you my offering today. God, here is my offering. What is wrong with my offering, God? I have brought my amazing fruits and vegetables. Don't you like what I have grown?
My brother, God has not accepted your offering because that is not what he has asked for. It has to be a lamb, not fruits and vegetables.
Well, I am not impressed. And you think you're better than me, Abel?
No, Cain, I do not. I just know that what you have brought to the altar today is not what God has asked you to bring.
Well, how about we go for a little walk and you can show me what I need to bring to the altar instead?
Sure, Cain. I will be happy to help you.
This is the last time you ever think you're better than me, Abel.
Cain, where is your brother Abel?
I don't know. Am I my brother's keeper?
Cain, your brother's blood cries out to me from the ground. My heart breaks for the choices that you have made. This is not the plan I had for you. Abel did not deserve what happened to him. He remained faithful and loyal to me. Satan is doing his best to take everyone on a path of misery and death.
Wow, poor Abel. How could his own brother do that to him?
Yeah, right. Satan wants to seek and destroy. Remember, we are all in the middle of a battle between good and evil. The choices we make each day determine which pathway we are on. God's plan is built around love, real love. It is there for us to follow God, so ultimately we can be rescued. But Satan will do all he can to get us off track and down the path of destruction. Sadly, that is the pathway that Cain chose to take.
And poor Abel was killed because of Cain's wrong choices.
Son, it may not always be easy, but choosing God's way is the best way. His way is the great rescue plan.
So I need to make God's way my way, like that song that we were singing the other day, Dad.
You mean this song?
I've been created by my Father in heaven. He knows me from the inside out. He knows the best way for me to be happy. All this I have no doubt. So I'm gonna make God's way my way. Why don't you try this too? I'm gonna make God's way my way. The best way for me and for you.
I'll read God's message for me and my Bible and talk to
I'm gonna make God's way my way, the best way for me and for you. So I'm gonna make God's way my way. Why don't you try this too? I'm gonna make God's way my way, the best way for me and for you. The best way for me and for you. The best way for me and for you.
Yep, that's what I want to do. Make God's way my way.
Me too, son. Me too.
It makes me so pleased to see you thinking about the right way to live and thinking about the choices that you are making. I want what's best for you. There will be challenging times. The battle for you is always raging, but I promise that my way is the best way.